Hello, good night. So I'm starting this series because we're all going through a bit of a rough time. There's no hiding that in the midst of all these uncertainties. 2020 is just terrible. And I know that sleep has been difficult for many, and I've been told that my voice puts people to sleep. So I thought, if I could help anyone right now by putting them to sleep, I will damn sure try. On a side note, I guess something that I should address is that the content of this channel is about to change very drastically. I know a lot of people, I know everyone follows this channel for Emily and Isa's relationship, but we are no longer together. We are on great terms, don't worry, but I have since privatized all our videos in respect for everyone's privacy. And as well, because it's just been so many years since I've uploaded anything, so I guess I thought I might as well start fresh. So I completely understand if you feel the need to unsubscribe. Feel free. You've been subscribed to this channel for 4 years with no activity and no explanation, and I'm really sorry about it. I'm really sorry, actually. Yeah, if you feel like unsubscribing, I'll see you around sometime. Hopefully, come back. If you're among the old subscribers and you want to know what I've been up to, feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and I might do a Q&A sometime. If there's enough questions, I think I owe you guys that much. I'm sorry. I really am. Oh, if it wasn't clear earlier, the point of this series is to read you to sleep. Yeah, so first episode, for meme's sake, I went on Wattpad and I found this title very intriguing, so I'm going to read it. I haven't actually read it, so I hope it's not problematic. And if there's anything you'd like me to read, leave it in the comments. Again, I'll read anything that's basically not problematic. Okay, this first chapter we're reading is called I Like My Men How I Like My Coffee, Hot and Bitter by rachksnaps. What a great title. Just amazing. Cue soft piano music. Legend has it that 9th century goat herders were the first to notice the effects of caffeine. When a goat began to dance after eating the coffea plant, a local monk made a drink from the fruit and found it kept him awake. Thus was born the first caffeinated beverage and my only bad habit, coffee. This is so outside my personal character, by the way. I don't drink coffee and I get really horrible anxiety when I do. So, good on this person. My poison of choice is an espresso, black. I take a sip and then cradle my cup, sparking a new life into my hands. It's late November, the ground outside the coffee house, layered in snow, my least favorite kind of weather. Relatable. Winter is definitely my least favorite season as well. I stifled a yawn with my hand. The coffee pod is the only coffee house in Artwood to stay open past midnight, making it the perfect sanctuary for insomniacs like myself. Aside from me, there are 3 other customers here at this time. I can't help but wonder what brings them here so late, whether they're just desperate for coffee or if something's keeping them awake. In the corner armchair is a tall, skinny man in his early 20s. Half hidden by his laptop. 2 empty cups sit neatly beside him, and a third is on the way. I lean forward on my armchair watching him type. Maybe he's a secret agent working hard to decode programs for some top government mission, or maybe he just needs to use the coffee pod's free Wi-Fi. A woman is sprawled across the old leather couch, her nose stuck in a hardback as she clutches a cappuccino. From the way she's dressed, she looks like a businesswoman or maybe an accountant, someone who could probably afford their own upscale coffee machine. That isn't what this place is about, though. No home coffee machine can satisfy these people, because it's not about the coffee at all. It's the atmosphere being surrounded by people while still being alone. That monk didn't create a drink when he discovered coffee. He created a community. Ooh. Sorry. I wish I could say that's what brings me here, but it's not. I don't come here for the free Wi-Fi or to feel a little less alone. I'm here because I hate falling asleep. Why? This is literally what we're here for. That's awkward. The roaring fireplace, the countless shots of espresso, they help to stave off the darkness for that little bit longer. Before I can examine the third customer, the door swings open. A blast of cold air follows the figure inside, and I rub my arms to keep them warm. By the time I look up, he's over by the counter. I watch him while he orders his coffee, certain he's a newbie. He's tall, with dark hair and broad shoulders. He's got his back turned, so I can't see his face, but from the way the waitress, Amelia, is staring, I know he's good looking. Oh, so she's been there quite a few times. She knows the waitress's name. Nice, okay, we follow, alright. I turn to study the final customer, an old man with glasses, thinning white hair, and red-rimmed eyes. He looks at least 60, and he possesses the kind of withered blue eyes you see in old movies, the kind that has seen too much and done too little. Maybe a war veteran, or one of those old guys who make bad choices and then spend the rest of their years regretting them. He looks up, and for a second I think he has noticed me. His eyes soften. He isn't looking at me at all. He's looking past me, at the moon. Oh God. I focus on my coffee again. I wonder what people would think about me if they ever noticed me. Mia Hope, 17-year-old girl, dark hair, darker eyes, and a sketchbook glued to her hand. No interesting story, no defining characteristics, just a girl who blends into the background. Oh, this is another wallflower story. Okay, that's fine. The guy at the counter turns with his coffee and our eyes connect. I let out a gasp. Because in a sick twist of fate, Jake Carpenter, the most popular guy in our senior year, is in my coffee house. He takes a seat in one of those armchairs. His eyes bore dangerously into the depths of his coffee cup, and his jaw is clenched tight into a sharp, narrow line. Whenever I've seen him walking the halls, he has always been smiling, but tonight, he's pissed off. What? He says suddenly without looking up. Are you staring at? My cheeks grow warm, and I thank my lucky stars I can't turn red. Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. Why can't she turn red? And why doesn't she want to sleep? Is she a vampire? Okay, I'll call it now. I think she's a vampire. Is this a vampire story? I didn't know this. Am I being stupid? We'll keep reading. We'll keep going. Okay. So, she doesn't turn red. Nothing, I say, clutching my mug. Just wondering who spit in your coffee. It is a brave thing to say to the most popular boy in school, far braver than I usually would be. He turns his attention back to his coffee as if I had never spoken. I had expected as much, but I still feel the sting of... oh my god, I can't read this sentence. But I still feel the sting of his brush off all the same. Jeez, I can't read. I don't know why I'm doing this. I look at my cup, ignoring the tight little knot in my stomach. It should come as no surprise that he doesn't recognize me. I am quiet for the most part, and Jake is far too self-absorbed to notice anyone outside of his circle. I finish the rest of my coffee, torn between ordering another and going home. Usually, I'll order at least 4 by the time I'm ready, but Jake's presence is disturbing the equilibrium. Okay, I dither for a little while, willing myself to get up and leave. But the thought of the nightmares I'll be having tonight keeps me frozen in place. Oh, maybe she's not a vampire. Out of falling asleep and being near Jake, Jake is the lesser evil. Reluctantly, I head back to the counter and order a coffee to go. When it's ready, I bypass the sugar station and take my seat again. I figure if coffee is going to be my bad habit, I'm not going to pair it with some powdery white poison. I mean, she has a point. Jake's pale eyes watch me as I take my first sip. It is clear from his expression he has no idea who I am. And even though it's not like me to draw any more attention to myself, I find myself turning to face him. "You don't recognize me, do you?" I ask. He watches me carefully. No sign of recognition in those pretty blue eyes.
Should I?
We go to the same school, I say, hating the rejection in my stomach. Jay Carpenter, not knowing me should be a blessing in disguise. "You're in my English class." I know I should stop talking, but it strikes me as odd that Mr. Too Popular to Remember Us Lesser Folk, geez, that's a lot of dashes, is hiding away in a coffee house. He isn't the type to brood or to mingle with us peasants. I'm curious what got him so moody tonight. He raises an eyebrow, looking as though he might say something cutting before decisively going against it. I shake my head and get to my feet, bracing myself for the old. "And just as big of an asshole as always," I say, slamming the door shut behind me. Alright, Chapter 2, You're My Favorite Bad Habit. The mornings are always the worst. It's when the lack of sleep and the overload of caffeine decide to take a toll. I'm not a drinker. I've only ever tried wine once at my Uncle Larry's wedding, but if I had to explain what a hangover feels like, this would be it. Oh wait, is this the point of view from the guy? Oh, I probably should have read this before. I'm sorry. Slivers of sunlight pour through the balcony. Mom convinced me the billowy white curtains were a good choice when we bought them. But waking up to light is more horrific than it sounds. When I do get up, my footsteps are heavy as I head into the bathroom. A glance in the mirror confirms what I'd expected. Bloodshot eyes, rimmed with purple-like shadows. I rub at the residue of sleep in my eyes before slapping my cheeks. If I wasn't so tanned, I imagine I'd look as pasty and dead as I feel. Is everyone a vampire in this story? I'm starting to think that everyone's a vampire in this story. This is the downside to my trips to the coffee pod. While staying up late means I'm too tired of dream, it plays havoc on my brain. The hot water on my skin feels like bliss. I rest a hand on the elaborate tiles, praying I'll get through the day. I've got English first thing, and Miss Duncan isn't exactly known for being observant. So I can probably get away with the minimum. Why would your teacher care about how you look? I'm so confused. I focus on leathering my hair with shampoo, trying to invigorate my scalp. This solution I've found to keep away the nightmares. I know it's not sustainable. I know that too much coffee and too much sleep will affect me down the line. But right now, these side effects are more manageable than the nightmares. I spend a little too long in the shower. There's just something about steaming hot water that makes me feel safe. Same, I love hot water. Showering hot water. It means I'm late to the kitchen where my mother has already prepared my breakfast, bacon and toast. Despite the fact that she leaves early for work, she always has something ready. I wolf it down, grabbing my hat and gloves from the radiator where Mom has warmed them for me. I'd hoped maybe the unfortunate snow we've been having would suddenly let up, but a fresh blanket covers the street. I grumble along the winding pathways, trying not to slip. It's a 40-minute walk to Artwood High, which isn't ideal, but I refuse to catch the bus. Why? Sounds like a you problem, my dude. I get through most of my lessons on an autopilot, nodding every so often to show that I'm listening. When lunch rolls around, I retreat to my second haven to avoid the masses, Artwood High's library. Waiting for me at one of the tables is my best friend Priya. We're the only 2 people in the library this morning and every other morning for 2 reasons. The first is that the library is on the top floor and with no elevator, most can't be bothered to make the climb. The second is that a 10th grader jumped from one of the windows and now everyone believes his ghost roams the bookshelves. What the hell? Oh, okay. So we're still with the first lady. We're not onto a second vampire. Okay. Priya is busy poring over an old thick hardback. She likes the word hardback, doesn't she? Hardback. Deep in concentration, I sneak up behind her, using my hand to cover her eyes. Guess who? You're the only one I know who wears the same vanilla perfume day after day, she says, so I'm going to go with Mia. I remove my hands and take a seat, dumping my bag on the floor. What's wrong with my perfume? Nothing, she says, looking up. It's the fact that you never change it. Why change something that doesn't work? Oh, that does work. That works. Sorry. I unzip my bag and pull out my sketch pad before resting it on the table. When I look up again, Priya is studying me intently. What? Nothing, she says. You look exhausted. I wave my hand mindlessly. Oh, I had a nightmare yesterday. Didn't get much sleep. You'll never guess who I saw at the coffee pot, by the way. Priya lifts her head. Someone famous? I laugh a little. The odds of meeting someone famous in a town as small as this are 1,000,000 to 1. Even better, Jay Carpenter, and he was alone. Her thick eyebrows furrow. It is practically unheard of for one of the populars to break away from the others. Let me get this straight, she says, speaking slowly. Jake just walked into the coffee pot and sat by himself? No one was sitting with him? I stopped sketching to look at her. How many times do I have to say it? You only said it once, girl. Calm down. She shakes her head, sending her plate back and forth. Her Sri Lankan heritage means her dark hair is thick and takes 3 hair ties just to keep it all back. That's very specific information. Okay. I know her struggle. While my hair isn't as thick, my curls have a mind of their own. It's just strange as all. I don't think I've ever seen him by himself, she says. Lucky you. I get back to sketching. There aren't many things in this world that I'm good at, but sketching is one of them. I have been drawing for as long as I can remember, and my gradual process from stick men and beer bellies to lifelike portraits always fills me with pride. Priya gets back to finishing her assignments, and I take a brief moment to study her. Her nose is sharp, her eyes large, framed with thick black glasses that take up most of her face. When she first moved to Artwood at the start of 10th grade, she was immediately labeled the geeky Asian. I didn't get labeled for the rest of art grade. I was so shy and quiet, I guess they just forgot about me. Her first lunch, when we found ourselves in the library alone, she sat on my table and read while I sketched. It wasn't friends at first sight, not by a long shot, but after a few weeks of silence, we slowly opened up. At first, it was about my sketches or whatever she's reading. Then, it was about my family and life out of school. Eventually, we talked so much that there was no topic left untouched. Not even love. She learned that I like nerdy guys who can draw or sketch, and I learned that she likes girls. Did he recognize you? Priya says. I barely lift my head from my sketchbook. Why would he? Well, you're quite the catch. I cock an eyebrow. Are you mocking me, Miss Silveron? Of course not, she flashes a devilish smile. If we weren't best friends, I'd go for you. You've got this cute good girl thing going on that drives men crazy. Okay, keep reading. I can't help but laugh. My dating track record is non-existent. There was that boy from camp who I'd share a kiss with, but that is the extent of my experience with males. If you say so, I say, can we eat now? We pack our things before heading to the cafeteria. It's like feeding time at the zoo in here. Different groups of species all huddled over tables. I don't know how to say this word. Let's let Google say it.
Define.
Like wild animals. We take our rightful place among them, picking at what Martha, the lunch lady, claims is chicken. I disagree. What were you doing at the coffee pot anyway? Priya asked. I was, and this is going to really shock you, Priya, so brace yourself, drinking coffee. She doesn't roll her eyes this time. She's used to my sarcasm. Why were you there and not drinking coffee at home? Priya doesn't know about my trips to the coffee pod. The first time I went was near the end of summer break, and I've kept it a secret ever since. Coffee machine at home is broken, I say, and my mum's working so much these days that we don't have the time to fix it. It's a half-truth, which I'll gladly testify to this in court. It is better than a full-on lie. My mother is busy working. She's an accountant by day and an activist by night, which leaves little time for anything else. Damn, Priya says. I didn't realize your coffee habits were so severe. I smile, but I'm certain it doesn't reach my eyes. You don't know the half of it, honey. We spend the next few minutes discussing Christmas and what we both want for each other. I don't have much money. I quit my job at the mall during the summer break, and my mother's definition of pocket money is bordering slave labor. Bit dramatic. She thinks children only learn to be adults when they make their own money, so if I don't get a job, she'll give me the minimum until I do. At some point, I look up from my plate and scan the cafeteria. Across the room, Jay Carpenter is sat with the usual elite, but while the rest of them seem engrossed in conversation, he sat reading a textbook. A textbook? Who reads textbook? What? It must be a pretty difficult book to follow, too, because his eyebrows are furrowed and his jaws contracted. He's reading a textbook. I can't... Who? Where? What textbook? Then, as though as he can feel me staring, he does the unthinkable and looks right at me. The invisible girl has been noticed. That is the end of chapter 2. I hope you're asleep at this point. If you're not, I'm sorry. Check back again next week at 10 p.m. I'll do my best to upload every Tuesday at 10 p.m. I haven't been here for 4 years, and so I'm a bit rusty. Give me some time to catch back up to YouTube things. But besides that, have a good snooze. Good night.